Alright, I am back with another Destiny 2 video. I will stop raving about the shader temporarily. A lot of shader content the past week or two here, between the chainmail shader, which I am still rocking here because it's awesome, and the new lightning shader, which is pretty bonkers. Does it work on this one? Storm Chaser? Yeah, look at that. That's good. That's great. I'm gonna use that. Okay. I wanted to do kind of a follow-up to some past God roll things I've done. I think everybody is now a lot further along in terms of crafting patterns and things like that for Season of the Seraph, so it's probably time to circle back around and kind of show you what I ended up with. I have crafted all the weapons from this season, enhanced the majority of them. Some of them don't seem worth enhancing right now, but we'll see. I mean, there's no really reason not to, other than just material shortage, but whatever. Like, those are pretty plentiful. I might touch on dungeon weapons, but I haven't like crazy farmed the dungeon to get like perfect rolls of all these things, though I have some good ones. I'm gonna call these demigod rolls because everyone always critiques what I think is a god roll. That said, like, everybody critiques what everybody says is a god roll, so you can make your own adjustments based on what you believe is correct here, but I'll try to explain my rationale for my picks here, even though I am not like the biggest weapons expert in the game here. Okay, I guess we can do revision 0 too, since this is a craftable weapon. I don't know if there's like a correct thing here. It really just depends what you're using this for. So if you wanted to take this into PvE and you want it to be your primary anti-barrier weapon, Vorpal 4th time, that's going to hit decently hard. 4th time also applies to the high velocity sniper rounds, so that's good. And so for PvP, I think I had like elemental capacitor under pressure on this or something, but I'm mostly using Dead Man's Tale like a true pro in PvP. Anyway, okay, so we have a sister weapon to this. It's not the Velis, but it is the Disparity, which is another Hake pulse rifle in the primary slot. This is one of the strongest weapons of the season, I would argue. I had this on because I was using it in PvP briefly, I think. But I would probably put that on, depending. I don't know. It depends. Okay, so this is a really great weapon for anyone running stasis or just in general because it's a Hake weapon, which does extra damage to stasis crystals, so you do not have to have on the extra thing that makes your primary weapons do more damage to crystals. You can just use this and do breach armaments, and it's going to smash through them regardless. Not the only one. There's a scout rifle that has this also, but not a pulse rifle, and this is also a hard-hitting 4-burst, which is kind of a lot of people's favorite pulse archetype. Even in PvE, even where pulses are not like amazing, this feels really good. And then I have enhanced rapid hit, which also pairs pretty well with Headstone, and that is my pick here. I am not running a lot of stasis classes, and yet I do really enjoy this weapon and think it's one of the best additions of the season. It is very hard to take Trinity Ghoul off ever, but I occasionally try. I guess we'll touch on. So Liminal Vigil, there's a lot of good rolls of these. I have a Headstone Desperado one. This one is pretty good for just overall damage. I gotta change some of these around. These are bad. These are not great barrels, but I haven't like hyper farmed this, but it is a 2 bursts follow up to my favorite side armor of all time, Breachlight, and this does feel pretty good. Also, you can get the bonuses from hip firing with Tex Mechanica. I think that's how you do it. Similarly, I have some pretty good long arms. I really enjoy the Subsistence Explosive, and then I have Subsistence Dragonfly also, which is a lot of fun. Love the shader on it, and this is just a great feeling scout. This isn't really like a scout season with artifact mods and stuff. I don't think there are scout artifact mods. Oh wait, no, there's not. Okay. Oh wait, no, it's overload, but there's not that much overload stuff going on. So there's no overload in any of the seasonal playlists, for instance. So not using that a ton. Unforgiven has got a lot of use on void builds. I have one with Repulsor Brace also, but I'll try and stick with the Seraph Ikelos things here. This is the new Trace Rifle. The interesting thing about this is it can have Volt Shot, and that is interesting because on special weapons it scales higher, like the Volt Shot damage scales more than it does on primaries. So the Volt Shot is doing actually more damage, and this is an interesting pairing with Amulet Fluid because you can dramatically increase your reload speed in the top half of the magazine. So what you do is you kill something, like zap a few things for stats for all for additional bonus reload, kill something and then reload, and then it does a pretty big range of burst damage to a cluster of enemies. And this is very good in heists. It's just, again, you're sacrificing a anti-champion slot if you have to deal with that. And you may prefer a Volt Shot primary instead, which may be used more often since special ammo is limited. I do not have this enhanced, A, because I'm not using it a ton, B, because enhanced versions of these two perks is just extending the timer on both of them, which is fine. And like I've done that on some other things before, but I just right now I'm not using this enough to make this worth the resources, and those perks don't really cut it for me in terms of investment. The glaive, I love this glaive. It's probably my favorite glaive in the game right now. I love the heavy hitting, hard hitting, slow melee. Like it hits like a truck. You compare this with like Syntheseps on Titan, which feels really great. This also is the first glaive that has this new perk, Close to Melee, where if you kill something with the glaive projectile, it increases your melee damage and then enhances and extends that duration. I have overflow on this. This feels good to me. I hate reloading glaives, and the reload on this is crazy slow, so it's kind of annoying to reload. So just running over ammo to fill it up to enhance, take this to, I think it's like 9 or 10 off a 4 magazine. However, you could make the argument definitely that Enhanced Demolitionist is good here, because Enhanced Demolitionist counts on melee kills with the glaive, so that is a pretty big deal, and I can see why you may want to go down that path, and I may have spent my resources poorly here. If only you could buy more than one enhanced perk at a time and switch between them. Wouldn't that be great? Alright, moving into the Ikelos things as we keep going here. I've not really been using this a ton, even though, this is the once god tier shotgun. It's just, it's not quite at that level anymore. I did go with a classic roll here. You can get something like, I forget what the perk's called. Is it Cascade Point? Something where you will dramatically increase the fire rate of this, but the fire rate on this is already pretty crazy, and like it bucks a lot. And I had that on it, and trying to like switch to it and do the increased fire rate was just like, it was freaking pre-nerf Fourth Horseman crazy. So I just did a traditional trench barrel threat detector. You can do 1-2 punch. I have a enhanced 1-2 punch shotgun somewhere already, so I just figured I would go with this good old classic roll, even though trench barrel has been a little nerfed these days. Still fun. I like this wood shader on it also. And this is easily one of the best weapons of the season. This is the Ikelos SMG, which can now roll with Volt Shot. This has always been one of the strongest SMGs in the game for a long time now. Has Seraph rounds. You can put Threat Detector on it. I have Feeding Frenzy on it. Volt Shot does not trigger Feeding Frenzy, but you are usually cutting through so many enemies, you're still getting a bonus. And Feeding Frenzy does benefit a good bit, I would say, from being enhanced also. So does Threat Detector, but I don't know, whatever. It's kind of a matter of personal preference. I don't know if I prefer this or Brigand's Law. Do I have that on here? No. But Brigand's Law is the sidearm from Siege of the Plunder, which also rolls Volt Shot, but it has, I would argue, a better perk here. This is fine, but like I like the I forget what it's called, but like the punching perk on the other one, which like increases your range and handling and all that stuff. It just feels better with a sidearm and something that's up close. This is fine. I don't notice it that much. I tried to make this work with a modernized Warmind Cell build. They're just not good anymore. They're not like the worst, but I don't think they're good. So that I can't really consider that an added benefit now until Warmind Cells are buffed or reworked or something. But this is certainly just on its own with Volt Shot, one of the strongest weapons of the season, one of the strongest non-exotic primaries. Less strong, Jabbar Canary. This is a arc bow that it has Vice Stinger, so this is good for bows because it increases your draw speed when it's activated. Frenzy is also increasing like all of your stats essentially, and then Dragonfly got buffed. It got rolled up into Dragonfly Spec, so it hurts more, bigger explosion. It's a good feeling bow. I like it. It's just kind of just also like a bow. And if I'm using a bow, it's usually going to be one of the very high quality exotic bows. So like it's hard to justify really ever using, this over Trinity Ghoul in the arc bow slot unless you are dying to have an exotic somewhere else. So I'm not going to enhance that. It's fine. I just don't. There's nothing too special about it. I I don't know, man. So I'm level 8 with this. I don't even think these are my final perks. This is the one weapon I have not completed really at all yet. I don't. This is just like crazy handling right now. Slick draw is kind of terrible on sniper rifles because you want some level of aim assist, and this like destroys target acquisition. Uh, I don't snipe in PvP, and I know even if I did, there are much better PvP snipers out there. PvE sniping is not great, not in a good state at all. So this needs a buff. I do like rapid fire high magazine sniper rifles. They do feel good, but only on like ultra low tier content, and they need some serious help if they're ever going to be a real option, I think, for PvE outside of the rare occasions where we get anti-barrier sniper rifle. So not super thrilled with that. This one was a surprising one to me that I ended up really, really liking a lot. I like the shader too. Queen, like you would not have imagined Queen Grace would look like this and look that good. Okay, so I've been using this on my Hunter a good amount because it has repulsor brace. I like stats for all with Seraph rounds because the rounds over penetrate and that triggers more stats for all things. This just feels really good with Gyrofalcon explodey rounds, volatile rounds, and repulsor brace. I'm not going to say, like, again, hand cannons are struggling in PvE. Like, they're not the best option. You are certainly probably better off using an SMG, although this season this is at least anti-unstoppable as well. And anti-unstoppable just got patched on hand cannons to not be terrible. I've had a lot of fun with this. I really do enjoy this. I don't know if repulsor brace enhancement is worth it, but I want the gold border, so that's why I did it. That is everything here. And we move on to the heavies. This is the one Terminus Horizon I've masterworked, I think. Triple tap, high impact. It's fun. It's like, good at killing yellow bars, I guess. It's not going to be a top DPS option, but I like the way this gun feels, certainly. And the triple tap sustaining the high impact is pretty fun, but whatever. Okay. These two are the final ones, unless I'm forgetting anything. Fire and Forget. So I just enhanced this. I didn't at first, but I love aggressive frame linear fusions. To me, they feel way better than normal linear fusions because they're more forgiving with the 3-round burst. And the only other one that even exists is Storm Chaser. And I've used the living hell out of Storm Chaser forever, all these different roles I have. So I wanted to do one you can actually craft and one that has Vice Stinger on it as well. So the problem with this thing is the stability on this is just freaking ridiculous. Like, I think it's a visual problem. Like, the actual stability is okay, but the gun just like kicks like crazy when you shoot it. So I have a bunch of stuff to control recoil and stability. I know you probably want the higher impact battery perk, but whatever. Also, I've been told that Chill Clip is not as good as Focus Fury on this for pure damage, and yet I really like Chill Clip here. It's fun to be able, with a 3-round burst, to slow, freeze, and then shatter the freeze of an enemy with 3 shots. That is a very fun loop. I don't know, it's not maybe the max DPS, but it's supposed to be pretty good DPS. If you're using this on Stasis, you are also getting bonuses for shattering. And then the secondary perk here was a little all over the place. I think it was pretty much this or Surplus were the only real options. Field Prep, Enhanced Field Prep gives you 23 shots for this thing, which is good. Plus, the bonuses when you crouch and stuff. But that is very good. So I really think that is probably the best pick there. Focus Fury, 4 damage is probably the best option here, but I can't say no to Chill Clip. It's too fun. And then one of the surprise hits of the season is Retrofit Escapade, mainly on your Gyrofalcon Hunters or any Void build that gets volatile rounds. Because this is a crazy 900 RPM firing rate, it triggers volatile rounds like a bazillion times in a row. There's some debate about whether it's a visual bug or if there's some internal cooldown. All I know is this does a lot more damage, a significant amount more damage than most machine guns when volatile rounds are activated, plus target lock. Enhanced target lock, I think, takes it up to 40% increased damage at max stacks, and then you're sustaining that with 4 times the charm. Pretty wild, pretty good. It's maybe not replacing, the super meta DPS options. I still think you can't really unseat linear fusions with this, but the people who know what they're doing have tested this, and it is very strong, certainly much stronger than most machine guns outside of things that are barely even machine guns, like the new heir apparent rockets. Wait, no. Grand Overture rockets. Those are hit like a truck now. So those are kind of the roles I have settled on here. I am essentially done for this season. I don't see a I guess I'll throw on the sniper. So leveling sniper rifles is free. I saw a Reddit post about this. Leveling sniper rifles is exhausting because of how little the percent goes up when you're running them and getting kills with them. It's terrible. Shotguns aren't great either, but sniper rifles are bad. So I think I still have the Witch Queen Throne World sniper rifle unleveled somewhere. I have almost everything else all leveled up, but obviously I know some people are farming some DSC weapons. I do not run DSC nearly enough to get enough for patterns for those, but I have done a few encounters and gotten a couple halfway decent rolls. I'm at least going to masterwork with the new origin trait perk about dealing damage regenerates ability energy, which on things like the machine gun can be kind of crazy. I don't have one on me, but and then we have some dawning weapons. Some of those turned out pretty cool. Relentless Steel, Cold Steel, Subsistence Adrenaline Avalanche. This is one of the only solar machine guns these days. There's just a couple, and it's a good RPM. What was the RPM on this? 450? I don't know. It feels good. I like that. I never liked this, and then finally it has enough stuff on it to feel pretty good here. So anyway, those are my kind of demigod rolls this season. Is what I ended up with as I guess we're a month away from the end, a month and a half away from the end. And there's not tons left to farm for me specifically, which is fine. I've farmed enough, and I have a bunch of games to play in February, so that's fine with me. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.